every 45 minutes, I was changing.
And you're changing your pads every 45 minutes?
45 minutes. And it got so bad that I started wearing Depends.
Wow.
I started wearing adult diapers because it was safer, if you will.
Today I'm joined by the lovely Kimberly, who is here to share her story of dealing with painful periods throughout her teenage and early adult years. She's also experienced fibroids, which ultimately led to her having a hysterectomy at the age of 44. And now she's experiencing a whole new set of symptoms with perimenopause.
How's everything going? How are you today?
Everything is fine. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. And hopefully this will be something that women can really benefit from.
I think so. You have been on quite the journey. You have, from painful periods as a teenager through to experiencing fibroids, which ultimately led to a hysterectomy, and now you're sort of navigating the joys of perimenopause. So, it's a lot. So can you just take us back to the beginning? So what were your periods like? You mentioned that you first started your periods at about age 11. Can you just take us back to that time?
Yeah, it was more of a surprise.
Yeah.
I don't even think my mother had really talked to me about it because she probably didn't think, oh, it's not time for that yet. So with that being said, when I started it, it was a reactive situation. So it's like, oh, so I guess we got to talk to Kimmy about periods now. So in a time at age 11, I remember getting it when I was in school. I was in grade 6 and hadn't been the same, to be honest with you. Through high school, had really extremely bad cramps. Cramps were unbearable. And I ended up meeting one of my best friends. She's still one of my best friends to this day. And we ended up trauma bonding over having painful periods. And her period actually was very bad, so bad that you knew when she had her period because she was absent at least 2 days out of the week. 2 days out of the 2 days, not 2 days out of the week, 2 days out of the month, you knew. It's like, where's Marquita? Oh, never mind. Because she really could not get out of bed. She was horrible. But that was still the starting point for me, and realizing that I'm not alone in this. And we as Black women, from my mother sharing, oh, it's just in the family. It's just in the family. Your sister has bad periods. Your grandmother had bad periods. I had bad periods. Everybody's got bad periods. It's just a part of who we are as women. And it's like, okay, so what am I going to do when I don't have my mother there? My mother was in the military, and we were able to get pretty high dosage ibuprofen, if you will. And at, I would say, this age of 14, 15, around the time of trying to regulate periods and things like that, my periods got so bad that I was on 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen.
1,000 milligrams?
1,000 milligrams, yeah.
Wow.
But I could only take it like once out of the week, just to make sure it wasn't as bad. But Midol was like candy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Midol is what, 200 milligrams? Nah, this wasn't a 200 milligram body. I ended up taking it. If that were the case, I would take 5 of them.
Yeah. Wow. So to be in that much pain, to have to take that much ibuprofen, so what sort of, how did that sort of show up in your body in terms of the pain? Were you doubled up on the floor in pain? Did you have to take time off school? How did it affect you?
I was lucky. I wasn't like my friend, but I did have my times. Don't get me wrong. When I was in high school, I did have my times. I was a cheerleader, and I remember sitting out. Like, we had our sit out times, and it was like, nope, there's no jumping, there's no splitting, there's no flipping, there's no nothing. You can't do anything. All you can do is just be there, dressed out in uniform and supporting. I do recall that there were times when at cheerleading camp, just surprise, your period's here, and it's the worst. And we're at camp. I mean, we're only here for a week, and at least 2 of those days had to sit out.
Yeah. Wow. So you mentioned you went back to mentioning about your mom saying it's, it's part of being a woman, it's in the family, that kind of thing. So how did those early messages sort of shape how you viewed your symptoms growing up? Was it a case of, okay, this is it, just get on with it? Did you ever think about sort of seeking help from a doctor about the pain? How did that shape your experience?
Well, keep in mind, I was also on birth control to try to regulate everything as well. They thought that that would be helpful. And of course, it made me think about, when I go to college, go to university, like I said, my mom's not here anymore. I'm moved clear across the country. How am I supposed to navigate this period thing? And I did the same thing that I did in high school. I had my sit out times. I had my times when I would not go to class or could not go to class. I was in training for the military. And I remember not being able to show up for PT, for personal training, on numerous days, or, to dress out in uniform. I was not able to. And then from there, I was like, I don't think military life is going to be for me because of this particular situation. That's one reason. For this particular situation, I would be a complete burden on any and everything that, anything dealing with military. It would not be good.
Yeah,
So
wow.
it made me think about that.
So it was really starting to have an impact on lots of areas of your life. You were on birth control, you were taking 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen. When did you start realizing, this has got to be something more than just bad periods, more than heavy periods? When did you start thinking that, and what did you do?
I never did, because it's just a part of being a woman. And it's going to happen until it doesn't, until it stops. Until you hit menopause, and that could be all the way to your 50s. You're going to go all the way up until then. This is your life. Congratulations.
Yeah, and this is something similar to what I was told and brought up to believe as well, that it's just something you have to deal with, get on with it, and that's it. So I have experienced exactly the same as you as well. So fast forward to when you were diagnosed with fibroids. What led up to that diagnosis? What changed in your symptoms?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I'm thinking it was because I was going to the gyno regularly, and he spotted something at the time and was like, yeah, it would be in the best interest before this gets out of control, to do a DNC, a clean out of your uterus, or your uterine cavity, just to make sure that you're functioning properly, so that when your periods aren't so bad. And I was like, okay, sounds good, no problem. And that was in 2010, 2009, 2010. It was before I moved here to the UAE. And then when I got to the UAE, so that would have been 8 years later. So 2018, I had another one, and another, DNC, another scrape of polyps, as we like to say, as they say, another scrape of polyps in my uterine cavity. And that's when she shared with me that, so it wasn't fibroids in 2010, it was fibroids in 2018. So she let me know that, you do have this many, they are grape size, and you do need to monitor them and make sure, that they're not getting out of control. And from there, so that was 2018 when I had that particular surgery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and may I ask, what was the surgery, and what sort of treatment options were discussed with you at that time?
The surgery, I forgot what DNC stands for, but it's a cleanup of polyps and anything else that is in your uterine cavity, or your cervical uterine cavity, to minimize, not cramps, but to minimize heavy bleeding, just to make sure that everything is aligned, the lining is in good shape. Your cervical lining, your uterine lining is in good shape for blood to pass, or for you to not have anything to create blockage in any way. So this was different than fibroid surgery, having
Understood.
fibroid removal. So this is totally different.
Okay. Okay, so when we had a brief chat earlier, and you mentioned, the symptoms were just starting to affect everyday life in terms of there were times where you mentioned flooding, you were sort of having accidents during the day. Can you just take us back to those times and, yeah, what was happening? How did this affect you?
Well, if we go back to, so I had the last surgery, the scrape, if you will,
Yeah.
in 2018, and then COVID hit.
Mm.
And with COVID, we had to have the vaccinations. So I remember the first round of vaccinations, I was fine. Second round of vaccinations, I don't know what happened to me, but that was the worst period I had ever had since starting menstruation. So much so I thought, and I don't know what it was, but the clot passed and it was huge. I will never forget that. I was like, oh my God, what is happening to me? I have no idea. And I don't know. I was just massaging and it passed. And I was like, wow, I don't even know what just happened to me. Don't know why it happened. And on top of that, I believe that's probably what made me anemic at that particular time. There were a lot of things and a lot of people whom I researched on my own, like I said, trauma bonding. As far as, did this happen to you post-vaccination? What happened to you? Did you have this situation? And like I said, that was the worst. And that's when the worst became the worst. And yes, I was flooding like crazy. It was longer than it was. It was off schedule. It was, you couldn't keep up. You didn't know. It was almost like an abusive boyfriend. I hate to say that, but that's exactly what it felt like. It's like, are you coming back? Oh, this is what you're gonna do. Oh, you're coming back into my life. Oh, you're here. Oh, you're leaving. Oh, wait, no, you're here again. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, you're hurting me. Oh, no. Oh, I'm okay. No, I'm not okay. Okay, no, I can't stand. No, I need to sit. Okay.
Wow, so just very unpredictable times. So you mentioned this was after the second dose of the vaccine. So things just became very unpredictable for you. So in terms of when we had our chat, you mentioned, like, if you're going out for the day, you'd sort of have to think ahead and just pack.
I have to have a care package. I had to.
Yeah.
And it was whether it was coming, whether it was scheduled to come or not, because it could decide I'm coming 3 days earlier or I'm coming on time. I don't know. Or I'm coming the week before because the schedule, the calendar's off. Or
Wow. And as an educator, you're working as an educator in the UAE. How did this affect your working life? What was going on?
I was very blessed to have women who understood, and some men as well. Be like, well, what happened? What happened? She's going through times. So they understood as well. But women specifically in administration who were very, very helpful to my case. They would lay down. Say, lay down here, drink some tea. Don't worry about your class. We got it. A lot of places don't have that type of relationship or caring for them, for their well-being. So I'm glad that they knew what kind of teacher, trainer, professor, that I was at the time to be able to do that and know that I'm not operating at full mass, not at all.
Yeah, that is so comforting to hear because I hear of so many stories from women where, their workplaces are not supportive of their well-being, and it's almost like they're punished in a way for having to take time off. So it's really nice to hear that your workplace was very supportive of you.
I was very blessed to have them, or times send her home. No, you get yourself together, especially if you just had an accident on yourself. What are you supposed to do? So
wow. So Kimberly, so what was next from this point? All of this unpredictability, the pain, the suffering, what was your next step?
So from 2018, 2021 is when I had the second vaccine. Yeah. So from there, I was seeking a new gynecologist. And I knew that things were a little off, of course, as I stated. So I believe I waited another year. So I just seen my gynecologist in that 2021 year. So 2022 would have come up, but I moved. and I had gone to another emirate or another state, another area. So I ended up with another gynecologist, and lucky, she's Nigerian, British, been here for 30 plus years, fantastic OB-GYN. And I remember meeting her, and she did my ultrasound, and she just kept counting. She just kept clicking and counting, clicking and counting, clicking and counting. Now, keep in mind that in 2018, when I had the surgery, the clean and scrape before, you knew that there were a few, but, we have to monitor, make sure, nothing grows. That's what the last one told me. So when I go to this one, post-vaccination, like I said, clicking and counting, clicking and counting, clicking and counting. Now I knew that they were there, but I didn't know how big they were. That's where this division kicks in, where yeah, definitely. So as she's clicking and counting, she goes over two in particular. She's like, okay, this one is 5 centimeters. This one is 6.5 centimeters. And I'm like, you mean to tell me I have 2 fibroids in my body that are yay size, let's just say about yay size. I want to say, if you put them together, they're like this. And I'm just like, she's like, yeah, you did. So, so I was in shock, and I'm like, okay, no wonder this is happening to me. And she said, there are others that are probably like 3 centimeters in there as well, and the others are like 1 centimeter or half. So I'm like, okay, so what do we do now? I hadn't even thought about hysterectomy. That wasn't even in my sights. But she was like, well, I'm going to put you on medication, and we're going to monitor, and we're going to see what's going to happen, and yada, yada, yada. So that was August 2022 to about March 2023. March 2023, that would have been what, 6 months, give or take, something like that.
Yeah.
In 7 months, 6, 7 months. So go back in. She's like, okay, well, let's take a look. Let's monitor. Now, keep in mind, you're also anemic, so you need to be on iron supplements. And I'm like, oh, I can believe that, because in December, I was, as a makeup artist, I had 5 friends whose makeup I did for a desert photo shoot. And of course, it takes me 45 minutes to do their faces, but every 45 minutes, I was changing. And
you're changing your pads every 45 minutes?
45 minutes. And it got so bad that I started wearing Depends.
Wow.
I started wearing adult diapers because it was safer, if you will. If it can, if it can handle incontinence, I'm sure it can. Handle. So, and many other things. So it was actually in my best interest to start wearing adult diapers, to make sure that I'm safe and covered. But that still doesn't mean that the flooding stops. It was horrendous. It did not stop. Anyway, I say that to say, in March, when she said you're also anemic, it didn't surprise me, because I was always tired. I was always drained. It never felt like doing anything, tried, didn't happen. So I said to her, I said, okay, so what are we looking at now? She's still clicking. She's going over them. She's like, yeah, they're still there. Those are still there. But this one's grown. This one's grown. This one has stayed the same. So I think it was at 7 centimeters, so it had grown half. And then the other one had stayed the same. So I said, okay. From that time, I've been doing my research. I said, so when's the hysterectomy? She was like, hold on. She said, I really want you to think about this. I really want you to think about this. We're going to keep, monitoring and seeing what happens. I want to see you in 2 more months. Let's see what happens in 60 days. Okay, cool, fine. Sees me in 60 days. I'm doing iron infusions. I'm doing all of these things. I'm taking iron supplements. I mean, I'm so glad that one of my best friends had her hysterectomy a year before I did. And fantastic. I'm glad she was able to be there for me, to give me exactly what I needed, the support that I needed, and the information that I needed. But then again, her situation's different than mine. My, what do they call them? My ovaries and my cervix were normal.
Okay.
Hers was not. So even the surgical entry point was different. Everything different. So anyway, I say that to say 60 days later, we're monitoring, and she's like, this one keeps growing. I said, okay. She said, okay. She said, you do know what this means, right? Okay. I know exactly what it means. She said, you will not be able to have, to birth children. I was like, okay. Now, keep in mind, I've been saying since I was a teenager, I don't want kids. When I got into my 20s and my 30s, it was more like, okay, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. When I was 44 and making that decision to have my quality of life back, I was like, I'm good. If God blesses me with a man who happens to, already have kids and the work's already been done for me, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Because my quality of life is more important to me than if it were going to happen, me having children, it would have happened. It didn't. And I'm taking my control back. And when you take that control back, you start to realize it's going to be okay. As long as you take care of yourself, So I had the surgery and I was very prepared. I had a great support system from my community here. I got it done in the summertime when a lot of people were gone on vacation, but there were some people some of my friends who were still here. I mean, they started a food train for me, a visitation train. I mean, all of those things that would be like, yes, this is what Kim needs. And Kim would do this for us as well. And that is the truth. I had two of my good friends come and actually stay with me. They took turns, staying with me because I'm alone. I don't have anybody. I would want, to do that for someone else if they're alone, But I was very blessed, and it's still 3 years later a great decision.
Wow. Just amazing. And like you said, so can I just go back to what the doctor said? Did they sort of push you to consider your decision in terms of the hysterectomy? Because were they more so, well, you might change your mind, you want to start a family someday, or were they sort of quite respectful of your decision? Because I've heard sort of different stories of this in terms of hysterectomy.
No, she did, and I'm very grateful that she did. But I had also done my research too. I thought originally I was going to get a total hysterectomy, and that would have been a whole gut out of ovaries, uterus, cervix, everything. And that would have catapulted me into menopause at 44. Didn't want that. So she was like, no, we're going to do a subtotal. And that means you get to keep your cervix, you get to keep your ovaries, but your womb is gone. I was like, okay, that's fine. But she did also give me an option of, what was it called? Laparoscopic. What is it? The embolism, uterine fibroid embolism. And she did give me that option, and told me about it. But then again, she was stating that my situation, no, it's not a good look. Now it's my option. I have the choice, but it's not what she would recommend. And I said to her, I said, okay, so let's just say we did this fibroid embolism removal, if you will. What's the likelihood of them coming back? What's the likelihood of them coming back and me laying on this table again? She said, more than likely, they're going to come back. And I was like, okay. When's the hysterectomy?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because the likely
I'm taking my control back. It's a control thing. I refuse to let it or them, that whole gang that was, doing all kinds of funny things in my body, I refuse to let them do that again. I'm good. And I still have to play guessing games. No, it's an abusive relationship. Let's break up.
So you mentioned, Kimberly, for you, just the quality of life was just the most important factor to you, as just taking back control, basically. Yes. Can you just talk us through sort of the hysterectomy? I believe you had a C-section style hysterectomy. Yeah, can you just talk us through that?
Yeah, I had open abdominal. And of course, for someone who's never had children before, first time. and my uterus was enlarged, and it had pushed up into my stomach area. So it, based on what she shared with me, like she's like, the way that your uterus was shaped, it took us about 15 minutes literally to get it out. Usually it's quicker. It's just a straight shot. Mine was like it was going places, and I don't know where the hell it's going. But she said, yeah, that took a little bit longer. So that's another reason why my scar actually is higher than it would be for a traditional C-section scar. So mine is like right beneath my, not beneath, but a couple inches beneath my belly button. But that made a big difference because I can't exactly hide it. And as I shared with you the other day, I wish I could have done some, pre-op exercises, to kind of, get myself ready. But I was still bleeding. I was still tired. I was still, it just was not happening. My off days when I wasn't bleeding, I was still tired. During my period days, it was like, what could I do? And all I want to do is eat. And all I need to do is, make sure that my iron is high. So it means I need to eat. That means I need to, do things. There's a lot of things that I could have done, but there's a lot of I didn't want to do.
Yeah, so it was fun. You just couldn't, you were going through fatigue, you just said you just wanted to eat. So you did have the thought process of wanting to do some prehab before that, but you were just your body was dealing with a lot that you just couldn't quite get to that.
Not at all. It just was not happening. And when I had the hysterectomy itself, I don't want to say no one tells you about the weight gain that you're going to have because your hormones are now out of whack. And my doctor was like, "You sure I didn't tell you about that?" I'm like, "I'm positive you didn't tell me about that," because I was like, "Yes, I'm getting this was it equivalent to a 4-month pregnancy?" So I was like, "I'm getting this 4-month pregnancy out of my body. Great, I'm going to be slim." And it was like, "I'm not slim. What's going on? What just happened?" Okay, maybe I'm still, a little bloated, swollen. I need to wear the wrap band, the corset, the faja, and that's fine and dandy. That's great. But when you take it off, you still look like this. Your body is still going through adjusting to your organs specifically, are going through the adjustment of something's missing. And now we need to figure out how to navigate this body now. So it's interesting. That's why a lot of women who have this surgery, they're going to be constipated. They're going to be, going through a lot of gas changes, a lot of body changes. Like, where did this come from? I didn't even know I had this. Here it is. Never been like this. And here it is. Yeah.
What? So I feel this is what a lot of women go through after surgery. They just feel, okay, I've had these fibroids, they're making me bloated, they're making me look sort of bigger. Once they're removed, I'll get back to being slim. But that's kind of not necessarily the case, because as you've mentioned, with changing hormones, that can sort of make a lot of changes.
Fibroid removal is different because you still have your uterus.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're removing an organ. This is different. Yeah. And another, like, one of my friends, she was like, "Well, I've had a baby." I was like, yeah. So think about that. Imagine that. And same thing with fibroids. I guess you can compare it, but it depends on how big the fibroids were, and how much of an adjustment your body needs to make to be like, okay, this is gone now. This is gone now. So what do we do?
Yeah.
That's not the way that we used to move. It's not the way that, we're used to being. So now what? But keep in mind, with fibroids, it can grow back. With this uterus, it's not coming back. Removal of the whole uterus is not coming back. So now your body has no choice but to adjust.
Indeed. So, Kimberly, you mentioned just going to your recovery from hysterectomy. So, you mentioned that you had a great sort of group of friends around you, helping you. One of your friends stayed over to sort of help you. Can you just talk us briefly through your recovery? Sort of, yeah, how long did until you felt sort of fully recovered? What were your biggest challenges in terms of recovering?
Okay, so in the hospital, I was very blessed to be on the maternity ward
Mm.
side. I was like, oh, great. Yeah, hysterectomies are over here with maternity. Fantastic. Great. So you hear babies on the other side, you know, moms and the nurses are trying to cater to them and cater to you. It's like, this is kind of this. If I weren't a strong person, this would be traumatic, but I'm okay. Anyway, so having friends there to support you, number one, knowing that you're going into a hospital setting and asking the right questions as far as what your recovery is, huge. Please ask that.
Mm.
Having support, having it to where you don't have to do anything. So for instance, every shoe I had was a slip-on. Every dress was a zipper or a button. I wore dresses for that specific reason. I didn't want to, I couldn't do anything when it came to bending. It was almost like having a tummy tuck because I couldn't bend. So everything I had to, you know, be able to zip it or button it because bending was out of the question. Walking is huge. Walking is huge because that gets the gas going. And before you can leave, you have to poop. So it has to prove that, you know, the rest of the system is still working. So you might be, you know, caught up in the hospital if you're not moving, you know, after they give you the laxatives or suppositories. What else? What else? What else would I say about the recovery or when I felt normal? I wore a waist trainer, waist belt, wrap belt to keep the pressure in because once I took it off, it was so heavy and it just weighed. The weight of it was just so painful. However, the expectation of, once again, this four-month pregnancy is just going to slim me down. So it's almost like it's almost like just changing your expectations and being more realistic, especially because everybody heals differently.
Yeah.
The scar itself, keep in mind, it's higher up than the traditional C-section scar. So it was literally healing in my stomach, not my pubic area. So that was different within itself. In order to make sure that that didn't keloid, because that was something else that I learned, that keloids and fibroids are related. And I went to my dermatologist, who Allison is a Black female from American. And she expressed that. She let me know that. She taught me that. And she shot me with cortisone in my injection area, so that way the scar would lessen. And it, I will say today, even after all this time, it's still probably about 50%. You know, probably a little more than that, but it's not as noticeable as it once was. Apron. Yeah, I had an apron. I'm working off my apron belly. So it did leave me with that because I had not worked out prior to. Wasn't able to at that time. And the position of how my scar is, it left me with an overlap. So through finally finding the correct physical fitness, nutritional program, I'm now seeing that go away, starting to dissipate. Now, am I bikini ready? No. No. My partner would say, yeah, you are. And I'd be like, no, sir, no, we don't, you know, put on these cargo pants and this good t-shirt and keep it pushing. But yeah, it's been interesting as far as the fitness journey is another thing. Now I'm adamant, like I'm intentional. Like I was not able to before the way that I wanted to, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of the above. Now we're intentional about fitness.
I love that.
Getting it in.
It's that word, being intentional about fitness, not just working out just for the sake of it, being intentional. And we actually used to, yeah, we used to work out at the same gym together, and I saw you, I saw that intention, I saw you there. So just can you just take us through, you mentioned you've got an intentional now nutrition and exercise sort of plan, a protocol. So what works best for you? What are you working on now in terms of your fitness? And when did you sort of return to exercise post hysterectomy?
Good question. So I'll start with the latter question.
Yes.
When did I start back? So what's funny is that I lived in another part of the country when I had my surgery. Now, prior to the surgery, maybe about 2 to 3 weeks prior to the surgery, I had interviewed for a position to go to another part of the country, to Abu Dhabi, from Ras Al Khaimah to Abu Dhabi. Turns out while I was healing from the surgery, I got the job in Abu Dhabi. But wait, no.
Oh.
But that meant, but that meant that while I'm in my healing phase, I need to move.
Oh.
Exactly. Right. You're supposed to be on 6 weeks. Keep in mind, by the time I got the notice that I had received the job, I was in second week post-op. And I was like, wait a minute, you mean I need to move in 3 weeks? Yeah, you need to move. I'm still going to be in recovery. So how am I supposed to move? What am I supposed to do? So, yeah. So when I moved back to Abu Dhabi, maybe about, so that would have been August, September, October, I joined a gym that you and I both belong to. And, you know, it was the point of just showing up. I showed up. I was happy that I showed up. I was happy that I could show up. That was another thing, because now I don't have to worry about those things. You know, I don't have to worry about bleeding. I don't have to worry about, you know, that stopping me. Now, when it comes to perimenopause, that's different. We'll talk about that in a second too, but that's different. But at least I don't have to worry about things flooding my body and leaving me, you know? So I would say about 3 months is when I felt physically capable and mentally capable to get back in the gym. Most women are like, oh, I'm ready to go at 6 weeks. Well, that's, give your body a chance to heal. Good God, sit down somewhere. I mean, that's another thing. Like being a makeup artist, I was always in my car.
Yeah.
Nobody ever knew where I lived because I was always driving. They're like, does she live in Dubai? Does she live in LA? Does she live in Abu Dhabi? Does she live in Ras Al Khaimah? I'm always somewhere. Maybe I'm in 3 places in one day. You don't know. But yeah. I had plenty of clients that called me right after I'd had my surgery. And I think I went to 3 weeks after my surgery. 3 weeks. So that was the only one. Other than that, after I moved to Abu Dhabi, I slowed down. And it was like, give your body a chance to heal. You're doing too much. Now, I understand that if that were my bread and butter, which it is not, you know, then of course you don't have as much of a choice. But for me, with that being my passion, that was my passion. And it was like, slow down.
Yeah.
You deserve, after all that you've been through, to slow down. So from that, I say, give yourself mentally and physically a chance to slow down. Give your body a chance to heal. A lot of women are just like, I'm ready to go. No. Your body will tell you different, and your body will tell you to sit down, which it has done on numerous occasions, especially in that time.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're saying. Can you just say that again for the women listening? Because we as women, we feel we have to push on. We don't have time to rest. We've got family. We've got responsibilities. But just please say that again to the women listening. Slow down.
Mentally and physically, give your body a chance to rest and heal. Slow down. That's the reason why we were in the situation that we were in. It's because things were going so fast. Don't you think you deserve a rest? It took me a minute to to really process that. And it's like, no, you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Slow
almost like
down.
the soft girl era kicked in.
I love that. I love that, Kimberly. So can you just take us through sort of, you mentioned in terms of nutrition and exercise, in terms of sort of the foods you eat, what changed for you?
Well, learning that, so this would have been 45. So learning that I'm 45, I'm no longer 25, I'm no longer 30, 35. And you're about to go through some cycles, some real changes that are coming up. And you need to start learning about your body now because you've had this piece removed from you. So what does this mean for you and your future? So not only do I get my annual checkup with my gyno anyway, because keep in mind, I still have all the other parts, still have to make sure that those are healthy and maintaining. But now, being 47, listening to, I believe it's Dr. Stacy Sims. I'm listening to a lot of the menopause chronicles, you know, the perimenopause chronicles, everything dealing with women's health now is like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so what do I need to do? What exercise program do I need to start implementing? What do I need to start taking and being more serious about? What do I need to cut out? You know, because some people think cardio, stair stepper. And I'm like, what are you building? That's the problem. You know, I keep thinking, my body or my mind kept thinking, oh, you're doing the same thing you were doing when you were 25 and 35. That does not work anymore. You need to completely revamp your mind and your body. And now it's like, okay, so what do we do? We're going back to when we were a teenager. We're going back to bodybuilding. And that's why so many women of a certain age end up in the gym and more muscular than you know we our counterparts, if you will, our youthful counterparts.
Yes.
So now that has been a part of me, and along with consistency in my diet. I started with meal preps. I have a meal prep company that, you know, brings me my food, you know, all week. And it's like, I don't cook unless it's on the weekends. And my partner's a vegan, so of course I gotta cook for him or find him some food because he can't eat my food. But high protein has been a part of my diet, and I'm very blessed that he's in my life because he's a fitness buff too. And he turned me on to plant protein. So I don't even do ISO, whey, and all that other stuff. My body cannot handle milk. Can't handle whey protein. Not like it used to when I was 25 and 35. I can't. No. Or 37, 27, 37. Can't. No, those intestines are a little different now. So actually the plant protein is a lot cleaner. And collagen. I do mix that as well. And recently I started on 3 months. 3 months. Well, 4 months now. Oh my gosh. It's probably 6 months. Oh my God. I don't know my time. Started creatine. I started creatine. And that really took my body and my mind over in a great way. So especially for women over 40, don't be afraid. Especially if you start having the brain fog and, you know, need a little pick me up. It's a natural pick me up that is needed.
Yeah, it's so great that you're learning about your body, you're listening to your body. What, like you mentioned, what worked in your 20s, 30s is not necessarily going to work now, and you've noticed the changes. And so you've just mentioned things like brain fog. So that leads us nicely into perimenopause, which you are currently navigating. Can you just tell us sort of which sort of symptoms of perimenopause are you currently dealing with?
I was watching something the other day. What's so funny that you say that? And they were just listing off everything. And I was like, oh my God, you mean just me breathing is like a symptom of perimenopause? Like what just happened? Like my birthday was in January, and the following week it was like, wait, now I can't I can't do this anymore. Wait, what just happened? And then somebody says, oh, that's on the list too. Like your itchy eyes, your ears are itchy and ringing. And I was like, I have itchy eyes all the time now. I'm serious. I have the care, I have a care package for everything. I have my eye drops ready to go when my eye starts itching uncontrollably. You have itchy ears. I had itchy ears. That was like 2-3 months ago. All these things I'm just like, wow. So how am I navigating? Getting more information and also understanding that just because it's not there doesn't mean that you're not going to have phantom symptoms.
Okay.
I still have phantom symptoms. I still have ovulation. I still have, small cramps or things that happen in my cervix. I still have those things. And even my friend who had total hysterectomy, complete, she still has phantoms as well. So it's not like just because it's gone means it's gone. No, it's there. It's still the ghost of Christmas past. I'm like, hello, I'm coming around every month, just like I used to, but it's not as bad. It's not flooding. It's,
like the ghost of Christmas past. I love
yeah,
I love that.
Every month.
So wow, this is one that I'd never heard before. The itchy ear. So is that kind of stop now?
Itchy eyes or watery eyes. What else was it? Of course, hot flashes. That's the number one. Night sweats. Okay, yeah. Cold. You're hot. You're cold. Temperature changes. What do they call it? Frozen shoulder.
Yep.
Heard about that. I was like, oh, that happens after 40. It's like, oh, okay, great. Well, that's when you're headed in that direction. I don't think I've had frozen shoulder unless I slept on it. So I'm very blessed to, have not experienced that. But yeah, definitely the itchy eyes and the ears. I've had that. My eyesight changed. I mean,
really?
It's just, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I used to wear contact lenses all the time. All of a sudden my eyes just certain things I cannot do. And actually that was when I knew even my relationship with makeup changed because of that. I still wear it, don't get me wrong, but I don't do the stuff I used to do. And I knew that something had definitely changed in my body. And this was post hysterectomy.
Oh wow. So your makeup changed. Was that in terms of your skin or what aspect changed for you?
No, it was my eyesight.
Just to ask, okay, wow.
Being able to see and do things that I used to do. And that could just be a part of getting old too, but it happened so suddenly. It was like, wait a minute, I can't see out of my contact lenses. What the heck just happened?
Oh goodness. Oh, sorry to hear that. Wow.
Well, we're great. We're great. We're just all up in the mirror like this. So it's fine. We deal with it. We deal.
Yeah. So Kimberly, so looking back on everything you've been through a lot. What sort of guidance or support at the time do you feel would have helped? Obviously you had sort of your medical guidance. What other you're doing a lot of research for yourself now, but back then, do you feel any other sort of support would have helped and guided you in that time? Did you feel quite alone in that time?
That's a good question. Now, I did not feel alone. And the reason why is I was very supported. And even my friends, oh gosh, my friends to this day who I used to work with, they're like, oh God, we knew exactly when Kim was on her period. Like we gotta help her. We gotta, help her get through, make sure she's good. She's gonna be snapping at people. So I can't really say that what would have helped because I believe I did exactly what I could with what I had. And I couldn't ask for a better support system of either people who didn't have the same situation but understood understood pain. Let's put it that way. Understood the pain that I was going through, or the system of, girl, I have the same thing. So I was very blessed to have that. Doctors were, plenty and available here. So it's not like you can't get an appointment. It's not like you can't get, tampons and pads or, what you need here. But that's actually funny you say that. I was an ultra girl. Ultra. They only made Tampax Ultra. Like in America specifically, they only made a certain number of Tampax Ultras, period. Okay.
And these are the extra large ones.
Extra long tampons.
Wow.
Okay, extra large tampons. So for me to get Ultra and find it is like the gold at the end of the rainbow. You know, it's like, oh my God, I finally found it. This is amazing. If you have to go to, what was it, extra, I forgot what it was called, extra large or something like that, ultra extra large. I mean, you were cool, but you had to make sure that you weren't doing too much, you know, in your everyday activities. Let's just put it that way. Don't drink too much. Don't stress too much, because you're gonna, you know, flood out the extra large. So I do wish that there were more, maybe not from my support system, but from the government. You know, we do have in America, we have something called pink tax, and there are certain products that they, like I said, they don't make anymore. And it's like, hey, this would be very helpful for those who need it, to where we don't have to wear Depends, like our grandmothers, great grandmothers. Why am I wearing a Depends? Because this is not holding, you know?
Yeah.
Diva cups.
You tried them?
Didn't I just tell you I wear an Ultra?
Yeah.
Diva
Wow.
cup was like, right. And most of my friends were like, oh, Diva cups are great. I was like, okay. I had to wear a Diva cup and a pad just to make sure that, you know, it's like, well, maybe you didn't put it in. I tried on dozens of occasions, and I'm not doing the rinse the cup out and all that.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm not. I will not. So, yeah, as far as support, I wish that the government would be more helpful towards women who do have those issues. We're not regular out here.
No.
We're not everybody's regular tampons and pads out here. So
no.
that's what I
well, it's so glad to hear you had a fantastic support system with you. Like you said, everyone knew when you were on your period, so that is really, really
sure
good.
is. Like even my partners, I felt so bad. Like my ex-fiance, like he knew, of course, you know, but he had to be on duty. And I remember, and what I mean by duty, he was on massage duty. He used to take the palm of his hand, the heel specifically, and push it into my stomach to move the clots along.
Wow.
Yeah, they were that bad.
My goodness.
That was around the 2018, 2019 time. So this is even after the surgery. It was like, oh, they're still doing the same thing they were doing before. You're still you're still normal. We're gonna keep the party going in your uterus. So
wow, you have really, you've been through it, Kimberly. I don't even know what to say. You've been through so much.
yes.
So from your journey, last question for me today. What would you want other women to know who are going through a similar journey? What advice could you give to them?
Closed mouths don't get fed. And you need to not, I know it seems like I'm strong, you know, I'm not supposed to, especially as Black women. I'm strong, we're supposed to endure. No. This one, everyone will know. I need help. I am in pain. What do I need to do to have quality of life? Once again, your quality of life matters. So if that means that you're being vocal about your pain, if that means that you're taking off because of your pain, don't try to endure and be the strong Black woman trope that they want you. No. Your quality of life matters here and here, and to everyone else as well. They need to respect you and your pain, but you need to have solutions, you know, the desire to want to solve this issue of pain. So being the strong Black woman in this situation doesn't have to be that way. Now, you don't have to choose my way. When's the hysterectomy? because you have desires to have children. But keep in mind that there's the possibility that these puppies can grow back, and they can grow back bigger and badder than they were the first time. And that's what was in my head. So what would I rather have? Control and quality of life, or living on eggshells and wondering, oh, I wonder if they're ever going to come back. I wonder if they're ever going to. I will live my life the way I'm supposed to, the way I want to. It's my turn.
I feel like I just want to get up and climb a mountain or something right now. I feel impassioned.
You can. Don't climb that fence. I see that fence outside. Girl.
Kimberly, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. You have been so open, vulnerable to have shared your journey with us. There's so many women going through what you're going through, and to hear your voice, and especially at the end when you were telling women to advocate for themselves, you know, where women, Black women, we don't have to show that, you know, we're strong Black women, we can take this pain.
I'm not that strong. No. I don't care what milligram. I'm not that strong. I don't have it. I don't. At one point in time, I was like, I don't have it all. I am not well.
But Kimberly, thank you so much. I know what you've meant. What you've said today is going to help so many women going through this. And yeah, I guess a final question. How are you now? How's life now? How's everything going?
Well, to bring up dating, let's talk about that really super quick. So when I had the surgery, when I was healing from the surgery, even in those 3 months before I started working out, I was like, okay, how am I going to explain to someone whom I am intimate with? Now, number one, do I want to get intimate with anybody after this situation? You know, I got to show somebody my scar. I got to, you know, explain all of this, you know, the birds and the bees and the facts of life to this person, probably, as to why can't you have children? Do you want to have children? And it's just like, God, please don't let me have to go through this, because that's literally the last thing that I want to have to explain. Well, it turns out that when I moved back to Abu Dhabi in the midst of my healing journey, got the new job, I ended up meeting a gentleman who turns out he's absolutely fantastic. And I hate to put his business out in the streets, but I'm going to. Something in my spirit was like, just ask him about kids. And I was like, well, do you plan on having any more kids? Because I was like, all right, let me break the bubble here. All right, do you plan on having it? Oh, do you want kids? There it is. And he was like, no, I have 2 kids. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, do you want more kids? He was like, no, I have a vasectomy.
Okay.
And I was like, well, vasectomy meet hysterectomy. And keep in mind, what did I say earlier? I just want somebody who's already done the work for me. He already did the work for me. He's got 2 boys who were both in college. It's like, praise. And no, he doesn't want any more because he can't have any more. And neither can I. So, woo-woo.
Perfect.
Yes. So, dating, AKA I'm with my partner, and we've been together for 3 years. And like I said, he came around 2 months after my surgery.
Wow.
So he was the person who helped me get through this, same way I helped him get through his situation as well, but helped me get through my body, you know, positivity in my head, you know, looking at my body in a different way. Like I said, he's a vegan. I'm not the vegan, but I'm a lot more health and food conscious of what I put in my mouth now. As far as the protein situation, you know, he turned me on to that. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I'm at the gym for probably about 3 or 4 days out of the week, still meal prepping, still, you know, kicking butt. Just got back from the gym before we hopped on. So I'm actually quite proud of myself. I'm very, very proud of myself, because if I could go back, just tell that young lady it's going to be okay. Tell that woman it's going to be okay.
Kimberly, I am proud of you too, and I'm sure everyone watching is equally as proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. talk to you soon. And good luck, ladies.